Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to 3304. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. Today we look at how the new Aegis Eagle Eye system has helped players prevent Thargoid attacks. Frontier once again revisit the crime and punishment system. And does Elite Dangerous have a problem with bots? So you may have noticed last week that there were a few high profile stories that I didn't cover. Well, the answer to that was very simple. I was actually away on holiday all week, but I'm now back and the usual video schedule is about to resume. The past few weeks appear to have confirmed that Thargoid attacks against human stations and territory can now be prevented. Much of this is thanks to the new Aegis Eagle Eye installations, along with the players that have deciphered how this system works. In short, players can now use these in-game assets to determine the next targets of Thargoid assault. I'm going to go into more depth on this in a future video, as it's a pretty interesting subject. One of the initial targets intercepted by Eagle Eye system was Huvang D. Shortly after this information was discovered, Thargoid scouts began showing up in that area, and players soon began amassing within this system, attacking and destroying the Thargoid scouts. Eventually, it appears that the scouts were pushed back out of the system. Now, as many of you will know, a new set of stations are attacked during the weekly server cycle, usually every week on a Thursday. After the scouts were pushed out of Huvang D, this system remained completely unharmed during the new server cycle. So this seemed to suggest that the Eagle Eye system was actually working and that it is possible to prevent any attacks. Now, the Eagle Eye system was further tested with new intercepts of system names, Irandan and HIP 21559. Again, as with Huvang D, shortly after this intercept, Thargoid scouts began making an appearance in these two systems. So significant numbers of players began to amass in HIP 21559 in an attempt to push the scouts out of the system. Meanwhile, Irandan was left relatively undefended. On the weekly server cycle, ultimately only one of these two systems saw a station attack, HIP 21559, where the players made an aggressive defense against the scouts. The system remained safe and unharmed. Meanwhile, Irandan, which saw relatively little defense from the scouts, come under full attack from the Thargoids, with the station Glazkov terminal being attacked. It would seem then that the Eagle Eye system works very well indeed, and that players are now able to prevent Thargoid attacks with a concentrated combat effort. It remains to be seen, however, if when presented with two target systems, whether or not players are able to prevent an attack on both of them or only on one of them. Unfortunately, there's still no in-game way for this news to spread, and surprisingly, details on the recent systems have not been posted to Galnet, which would seem to be the obvious location for this information. Therefore, players will have to rely on either external sources or head directly to the Eagle Eye system themselves. Meanwhile, the next two systems identified for potential attack are Mentor and Lungini. MMOs throughout the years have certainly suffered from botting and automation. Now, until very recently, many people would have probably said that this is a non-existent issue within Elite Dangerous. However, recently information came to light from the player group, the Alliance Office of Statistics, showing that botting is a very real problem within the game. Now, for the uninitiated, botting is the use of automation and scripts to fully control a game. In Elite, that means full automation of a ship in order to complete a set of desired functions. In short, botting makes it possible to leave a computer running unattended whilst the player's ship travels from location to location, making deliveries or in some cases completing basic missions. In an extremely detailed post made to the official forums as well as to Reddit, the player group submitted evidence documenting the nature of the bots, along with where they had been running and for how long. The post includes various data to back up the claims, along with a video. Now, the bots have been apparently employed to heavily manipulate the background simulation, thereby using automated fifth column tactics against the legitimate players within the same area. Naturally, the use of automated tools makes any form of fair competition difficult to impossible. Frontier's policy, just like that of any other game developer, means that they're not able to directly comment on any case of cheating, hacking or botting. However, they have assured the player base that action has been taken in any cases where they felt it was necessary. The evidence posted to the forums shows that indeed the cases of botting slowed down or even disappeared shortly after Frontier were made aware of the problems. Unfortunately though, it does seem that these issues were not permanently resolved, as the botting would continue again within a matter of weeks, and in some occasions by the same accounts. So it's unknown just how much of a widespread problem botting is within Elite Dangerous, and it's quite possible that experiences of this are limited to just a few areas of the game. However, this particular player group have shown it to be a constant problem for them over the course of many months. Anecdotal claims suggest that other groups have also experienced similar issues. For the full story, as well as for access to all the gathered data, then do check out the links in the video description below. Frontier continue their feedback series of forum posts on the Beyond update. This time they are focusing on hot ships and bounties in the new crime and punishment changes. Now, since the implementation of the new bounties on hot ships, complaints on how the system actually works have become pretty common, with the most popular one being that the punishment for minor criminal infractions is a little excessive. Many players have found themselves locked out of station services, requiring a long haul to locate an interstellar factor in order to pay the bounties, and this is particularly harsh for new players. So Frontier have posted that they accept this is an issue, it's a legitimate issue, and they propose the following changes. So the idea is that hot ships will be able to access outfitting as long as the port is not controlled by the faction that has issued the fine or bounty against it. Modules can be taken from a hot ship and placed into storage, effectively becoming hot modules. Hot modules can then be freely fitted into any hot ship. Hot modules, however, cannot be fitted into a clean ship. Hot modules can be cleaned for a cost of 5% of the module's overall cost, and any module fitted to a hot ship will instantly become hot. So feedback on these proposals has been mixed, with some players feeling that it rectifies the problem of being harshly penalised for minor crimes, whilst other players feel it undermines the entire point of the new crime and punishment changes in the first place. Now personally, I feel that these changes only add to the complexity and obscurity of the crime and punishment system. As it stands, there's very little information in the game as to what constitutes a crime, along with what punitive action will then be taken against the player. And the entire idea of hot ships, hot modules, as well as the entire multitude of jurisdiction issues and everything else really only serve to just add to the confusion. Really, I feel any crime and punishment system needs to be clear and understandable. The punishment also needs to fit the crime. Now Frontier clearly understand this, hence the new proposed changes, which do go some way to alleviating the disproportionate punishments. However, they certainly do not fix the unnecessary complexity or legibility of the system. In short then, I'd hope that the feedback so far received will encourage Frontier to revisit not only the proposals, but the entire system itself, and consider making it far less complex. The once mighty Thargoid Cyclops continues to take a battering from all manner of players. In the past week, the Interceptor-class alien has been taken down solo by a variety of very small ships, including the Viper, Imperial Eagle, and amazingly enough, even an Adder. Now if you want to check out the videos, and they certainly are pretty entertaining and well worth a look, then do check out the links in the video description below. That then brings us to an end of this episode of 3304. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.